Natalie. Hi, saucy face. How are you?
Good.
Can you tell me your name?
I'm name is Natalie.
Yay! How old are you?
Not you.
You're not two.
Not.
But how old are you? If you're
Two.
not, no, you're not two. You're what?
3.
Very good. Very good.
Okay, try it.
Well, we're gonna see if this works on the computer. Okay. Love you, sweets. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Who dares? Oh!
It's a baby. A skeleton. I'm a skeleton.
Ah! It's a skeleton.
No, I'm not a
Baby. Baby.
I got it.
Oh. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. The end.
Technical difficulties, technical difficulties, technical difficulties. Hey, hey! Technical difficulties, technical difficulties, technical difficulties. Hey, hey! And we're spinning around in circles. And we're spinning around in circles. Technical difficulties, technical difficulties, technical difficulties. Hey, hey!
How about look at this?
And I'm upside down. Hi, people. How are you?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can got red-handed, Shelby.
Technical difficulties is over, Shelby.
Technical. Okay, I'm gonna say. Guys, you no, I have to go to my first side. They won't listen to me. Guys. Hi, guys. So anyways, they found this laptop. It would press buttons, and it turned really weird because I forget who was first, but someone turned something weird. I think it was Alex, but I'm not sure. So I was typing down random things. Alex turned into a... I'm just gonna pick a random character, Roger. And things happened. It was cool. It's coming May 19th. Chapter 1. Like bending the ink machine. Ah! So let's see. How old is the world? 2,927. Did you know that? You should. Like the moon. Wait, what? Who does that? Oh, I don't care. There's an alligator. There's a woman. There's a broken neck. And there's a death. There's candy. There's a garbage can. I'm just naming random things around my room. There's a fan. There's a box. Ha ha. There's a thingy. Another thingy. That's cute. The cute thingy. That's an ugly thingy. And there's an armpit. There's a dog print. That's squishy. There's a brownie. And yeah, as I said, there's a garbage can. I didn't do that. Stuff. something else. I can't remember, but have fun watching this. Bye.
The very first time we're doing this. Happy birthday to you. Somebody help me! I have a room full of relatives. Anybody?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Natalie. Happy birthday to you.
Blow them out for the first time! Please, for the love of God, tell me a tape!
Crucible is a story that was written during a time of fear in America.
It has obvious allegorical parallels to events that were ongoing at the time of writing.
These parallels are hard to detect, that is if you're lacking some historical knowledge. Before we go further, we need to cover that underlying history. It all starts at the end of World War II.
With Nazi Germany and the Axis powers defeated, the power vacuum was filled by the United States of America and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or the USSR.
The Union was a rising superpower, and this threatened many within the federal government, and thus, the Cold War had begun.
Things back home got much worse after 1949. That year, Mao Zedong defeated Chiang Kai-shek and the Nationalists. China was now firmly communist.
With conservative lawmakers proclaiming that we had lost China, and insults and suspicion being cast on members of the State Department, the United States was now fully embroiled in a Red Scare.
To be fair, there definitely was infiltration from the Soviet government. The case of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg revealed that U.S. atomic secrets had been leaked to the Soviet Union.
But more importantly to our story, a State Department official named Alger Hiss was accused of being a communist before the House Committee on Un-American Activities, also known as HUAC.
The committee, which was originally intended to investigate Nazi spies and sympathizers, was turned into a weapon to terrorize people accused of being communist.
This is ultimately what inspired the plot of The Crucible and sparked Arthur Miller to write about it.
And now, to get a better understanding of the story and Miller's connection with it, we have a vintage, never-before-seen, exclusive interview with Mr. Miller himself. Hello, Mr. Miller. How are you today?
I'm well.
Good, because I'd like to talk to you today about The Crucible.
All right.
To start off, what moved you to write the play?
In short, it was Senator McCarthy's fear-mongering about creeping communism and the House Un-American Activities Committee's capitulation to that fear-mongering.
What do you think prompted McCarthy to do this?
Who can know? What we can know is that it was not entirely an illusion. There was a grain of fact within McCarthy's paranoia. Mao Zedong went out in China, and Italy had the largest communist party outside of Moscow. His fears were not entirely unfounded.
So you were afraid of communist takeover as well?
Not quite. I had no love for the USSR, but At that time, the opinion of myself and many others was that capitalism had nothing more to say, its final poison bloom having been German and Italian fascism. My views have shifted since then, of course. But I was never as paranoid as McCarthy.
I'm beginning to understand your perspective to quite an extent. Would you say the Crucible related a lot to your own life?
If you had asked me in 1953, I would not have agreed nearly as strongly as I would after what happened in 1956.
Could you elaborate?
A dear friend of mine, Elie Kazan, was brought before the Red Hunting HUAC, just as many artists, writers, and filmmakers were before him.
And how did that go for Mr. Kazan?
For him, quite well. For others, not so. Elie was asked to name fellow Communist Party members, himself previously being one. And he did. He named names for fear of blacklisting, but naming names would ultimately do that for him.
I see. What were you referring to with your after 1956 comment?
Right. I was called before HUAC just as Elie Kazan was before. The difference between him and I, of course, was that he named names and I did not. And for that, the Congress hit me with a contempt of Congress charge the following year.
How exactly were you led to be brought before the HUAC?
I was trying to get a passport to attend the Belgian opening of their production of The Crucible. I was about to renew my passport when the committee jumped at the opportunity to bring me in. With Marilyn at my side, I told them I could not use the name of another person and bring trouble to him.
Amazing, Mr. Miller. Did that, contempt of Congress charge hold, though?
No, an appeals court decided that Chairman Francis Walter had misled me. He had promised me that I would not be asked to name names. That turned out to be a lie.
It seems as though life ended up paralleling your art, Mr. Miller.
Yes, I would say so. Even before my run-in with the committee, Proctor mirrored many of my thoughts and feelings. His refusal to name names I portrayed as a positive good, to give the audience the notion that betraying your friends is cowardly, deceitful, and plainly malevolent.
So, is Abigail Williams supposed to be Mr. Kazan? And are you supposed to be John Proctor? I feel as though the information you've divulged has only led to more questions.
Maybe so.
Are you experiencing head cramps from the hardwood floor?
Yeah, bruh.
Is it impossible to get comfortable?
Yeah, bruh.
Then I have a solution for you. Introducing the Comfort 2000, the piece of furniture to suit every need in the book.
How does it work, bruh?
The Comfort 2000 is the easiest mechanism. Just grab your favorite blanket, lay down, and that's it. Great for any scenario. Reading, doing your homework, watching TV, and so much more. Call today. Thanks, Comfort 2000.
Comfort 2000 may cause comfort, support, tiredness, lethargy, going comatose, combustion, dizziness, explosions, near-total annihilation, World War III, the inevitable reckoning of the Antichrist, the return of McCarthyism, small bruises, Mrs. Girders, please give us an name on this problem. According to all known laws of aviation, there's no way we should be in the fly. Its wings are too small to get its fat little body off the ground. We, of course, fly anyway because we don't care if these things are possible.
The 17th century was a rather tumultuous time in European history. The feudalist power structure was beginning to crack, largely due to the Black Death. With the fall of feudalism came the rise of capitalism. With the new economic order on the horizon, new economic conditions had to be made for that system to be sustained. The feudal lord's position of power had now been replaced by the capitalist's position, the owner of the means of production. This was pretty good for some people, in particular, men. There was now some possibility of social mobility, unlike the previous rigid caste system that existed before. However, unlike before, women had basically no chance of making it up to the heights of feudal power through marriage. In fact, women lost some of the rights that they had under feudalism. Not to say that they were completely equal to men under feudalism, of course not. But it is true that they lost many of the rights that they once had. For example, many women were disallowed from owning their husband's property after his death. They were disallowed from working certain jobs such as midwifery, which we will get back to that in just a moment. And in many cases, they were disallowed from being in certain guilds. Now, as to midwifery, why were women disallowed from that after the 17th century? The less extravagant answer is that under this very early form of capitalism, women were now valued more so as homemakers and as the raisers of the next generation of children who would go on to work for the capitalist. Which is all fine and good, but, you know, it's not as interesting as the other answer, which is that it was due to witchcraft. Finally, we have come full circle with one of the most pertinent topics at hand, witchcraft. So, what is the definition of witchcraft? Well, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it is the practice of sorcery or magic. That's very helpful from the Merriam-Webster dictionary. I'm being sarcastic, of course. But I think another definition would be more useful. I would say that witchcraft is really a mark of who society deems as unacceptable or as not conforming to what they expect. Particularly, what society expects from women. Look, for example, at one of the first people to be accused at the Salem witch trials, Tituba. Tituba was a slave. She was black. She didn't speak like they spoke. She didn't have the same culture that they did. Or Sarah Good, who was a homeless beggar. Both of these women were not the typical Puritan woman. So not only were the trials used as a cudgel against non-conforming women, they were used as a means to obtain wealth. We see this again with the Putnam family. They are arguing over land. They want more land. Who knows how many witch hunts, not just in America, but also in Europe, were done for wealth. Scholar Silvia Federici describes this as primitive accumulation. Essentially, how the ruling class in this new capitalist system have acquired the beginnings of their wealth and power. Now, that is not to say that every wealthy person has obtained their wealth and power sheerly through means of brutal murder. That is, of course, ridiculous. But it goes to show that the witch trials were not due to a primitive, backward society that knew nothing of science and rationality, but rather one that knew exactly what it was doing. It simply used an excuse for its actions. In truth, the trials, and subsequently, essentially every witch hunt in history, was motivated by prejudice, by bias, by a mad dash for resources. Not, as many think, a lack of knowledge about the material world. No, the people behind these witch hunts knew very well about the material world, and were seeking to expand their materials.
The Salem witch trials began January 1692, when 9-year-old Elizabeth Parris and 11-year-old Abigail Williams began having bouts of contorting wildly, screaming, and making strange sounds. Upon investigation, local doctor William Griggs determined that the children were definitely bewitched.
You can't be serious!
Super duper bewitched, possessed, cursed. Kind of sad, really, but my medical books have nothing on the subject.
Are you sure?
Yep, that's about all I got.
Where are you going?
Important doctorate meeting. Can't reschedule.
Griggs, you're the only doctor around.
Goodbye! After the doctor's impressively real diagnosis, more children began having these spasms. On February 29th, an arrest warrant was filed for
Well, that checks out.
March 1st, 1692 came around with 3 women in the court. The Sarahs denied their guilt, while Tituba did not that.
I did witchcraft. I signed the black man's book.
Astounding!
And I wasn't alone.
Incredible.
There were others from Salem with me, too.
Who?
Spoiler alert, it was everybody. Pretty much everybody. Countless more innocent souls across Salem and Massachusetts as a whole were brought to the court, including Martha Corey and Rebecca Nurse, both very well-respected members of the community, as well as Sarah Good's 4-year-old daughter, whose shy and quiet answers were interpreted as confession. The rapid growth of the hysteria led to Governor William Phipps on May 27, 1692, creating a special court of order to hear the accused, and terminer to determine the outcome. The first to be heard by these special courts on today, June 2nd, will be Bridget Bishop, known in this town for 2 things: gossip and just relentless promiscuity. Despite the unsettled views of the public, Bishop was quick to assert,
I am as innocent as the child unborn.
Nah.
What?
Nah, wrong.
Governor, please.
Look, I have been waiting in agony for the past, 20 seconds to hit something with this hammer.
Gavel.
Tomato, potato. Guilty! Bishop was the first in a long line of death sentences, being hanged on June 10th on what would one day be known as Gallows Hill. It didn't take long for some to wisen up. 5 days after Bishop's hanging, Cotton Mather, a respected magistrate, wrote a letter imploring the court to disregard evidence based on dreams and visions. The court disregarded this, hanging 5 in July, 5 more in August, and 8 in September. 7 others died in jail, and Martha Corey's husband, Giles, a 71-year-old man, was pressed to death with stones. October 3rd had Cotton's father and president of Harvard, Increase Mather, denouncing the spectral evidence as well, stating, "It were better that 10 suspected witches should escape than 1 innocent person be condemned." Okay, I made Harvard mad. Maybe this is bad. Maybe this is a bad idea. I wish there was some other sign.
Governor, the next accused is your wife, Lady Phipps.
Hot dang! Maybe this was a bad idea. Okay, wrapping this up. Yep, solid whoops. So whoops on my part.
Governor, what do you mean?
The thing with the witches. No more arrests, no more accused, no more courts. We're done. We're done.
What will we do without a court?
Make a new one. The Supreme Court of Judicature.
Governor, that is a sick name.
Thanks, I made it up just now. And it can't use spectral evidence.
Noted.
Yeah, no more of this witchcraft thing, kind of bogus.
Governor, if I may.
Shoot, Hawthorne.
If your wife had not had her neck on the chopping block, would you still have stopped this?
Don't look too deep into our moral characters, Hawthorne, okay? They'll all collapse completely. Just let me do this one good deed and fade into history.
Also noted, I hope my kids don't hate me so much that they feel they have to change their last name to disconnect themselves from me.
Nah, I doubt they'd do that. They'd have to be a real A to do that. By May 1693, all accused of witchcraft were finally released from prison by Phipps, but the mark on history had already been made. Many involved publicly apologized. On January 14th, 1697, the General Court ordered a day of fasting and soul-searching for the tragedy of Salem. In 1702, the court declared the trials unlawful, and in 1711, the colony passed a bill restoring the rights and good names of those accused and granted £600 restitution to their heirs, $774.45 today. However, it was not until 1957, more than 250 years later, that Massachusetts formally apologized for the events of 1692. The events have long since passed, and Salem remains not only a remainder of the tragedies, but just as simply a place to live as it always has been.
So the first question I have for you is, what do you do for fun in the city, Mr. Gill Fisherman?
Well, for one thing, I like to fish.
There are several wonderful things about my hometown, but if I had to pick one thing, it would definitely be shopping.
I like to take care of my boat, use the fish.
Either in these several curated shops throughout the town, or at my very own Salem Witch Village.
Mostly just skate, to be honest.
I like to go to stores, buy things, do a fish.
What is your favorite thing to do in Salem? Spend money. It's my favorite thing to do everywhere.
No, I just skate. That's it. I just skate.
Oh man, that's a long list. There's a long list of things I like to do in Salem. But if I had to narrow it down, I think it'd have to be playing pool. In second place, the fishing.
Is it evident that the Salem witch trials occurred here hundreds of years ago?
I mean, not really, but sometimes there are bad vibes in the city, I'll be honest.
See, I'm cool now. Can you repeat that?
The Salem witch trials?
Okay, so yeah. Salem witch trials. We got like a time period?
I think that it most certainly is.
With the witches, yeah, but I got but with the witches in the water, were they messing with the fish?
Because we have several, like I said, specialty shops dedicated to it, as well as historical monuments and different attractions for tourism. Do you think the Salem witch trials has affected your day-to-day life?
I mean, other than the bad vibes, nah. Although, come to think about it, I think the skate park is kind of haunted.
Personally, I feel as though it has, because I've profited from the mass tourism that is accredited to the witch trials occurring. Did you see any ghosts there or something?
Nah, but it is named after some kid who died there.
I don't think it's really affecting me all that much.
So, Kyle, why don't you tell us some more about that skate park? That's pretty weird.
Yeah, so basically, the kid's name was Ryan Brennan, and he got, like, hit by a car, like, 15-ish years ago. I don't know if that has to do with witchcraft, but it is kind of bad vibes.
Please help me. It is me, Giles Corey, from the Salem Witch Trials. I have been reincarnated in the form of this dog. All I know is chasing balls. I miss my wife.
So overall, we can see from these answers that modern-day Salem is just like any other historic city in America. The people that live there do everyday things no differently than people from anywhere else. But of course it would be a shame for the city to completely forget about the tragedy that happened in the 1600s. It took several years after the trial for the city to get back to normal after grieving the lives of several innocent men and women. Today, Salem is like any modern city in the United States. It is a vibrant urban community with a downtown area full of shops and restaurants. There are many outdoor cafes, ethnic eateries, fine dining establishments, malls, department stores, and open markets in our downtown retail district. Salem also has a waterfront with 18.5 miles of shoreline and 7 public beaches for recreational and commercial use. Over 1 million people visit Salem every year. Most of the tourists visit the town's museums and historic architecture to learn about Salem's rich history. Salem is a pedestrian-friendly city with easy access to its downtown attractions. Salem, Massachusetts is home to the grand mansions that housed many of the country's first millionaires. Salem is proud to be home of an up-and-coming artist community. While visiting Salem, many tourists decide to take a historical tour to enrich their understanding of the town's rich history. The Salem witch trials were a crucial turning point for America. Before the trials, religion and superstition were very important, and after the witch trials happened, rational thinking became more and more important. This has made our court system far more reliable in making correct accusations based on real evidence rather than religious beliefs or suspicions. The abuses of the Salem witch trials would contribute to the changes in the U.S. court procedures, playing a role in the advent of the guarantee of the right to legal representation, the right to cross-examine one's accuser, and the presumption of innocence rather than of guilt.
This is so romantic. Just the two of us.
Happy anniversary.
What was that?
Our side.
What is it?
I've heard this before. They call him Twisty.
Oh no.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to our daily news segment, Back in the Day. I'm Samantha Hyman.
And I'm Sage Sneath. Today we're talking about a topic that's been around for centuries.
That's right. Today's topic is
mass hysteria! Sam, do you care to give us a definition about what exactly mass hysteria is?
I sure can, Sage. Mass hysteria is a psychological and sociological phenomenon which transmits collective illusions of threats, whether real or imaginary, through a population and society.
So, in layman's terms, it's when a group in society all gets scared about a threat, even though it may not even be real?
That's right, Sage. Today we're going to be learning about 2 examples of mass hysteria in history, as well as 2 examples of a modern-day type of mass hysteria.
Our first historical instance of mass hysteria happened in Kasasha, Tanzania in 1962. A group of 3 schoolgirls began laughing hysterically for no particular reason. Even when teachers threatened punishment, they continued. Soon, over 90 students in the school engaged in these laughing fits. Eventually, this led to the school's closure, and the laughter spread to the surrounding villages. These fits lasted anywhere from a few hours to 15 days, and went on and off for roughly a year before disappearing just as mysteriously as they appeared.
Sounds terrifying! A second mysterious instance of mass hysteria in history occurred on October 13th, 1917 in Fatima, Portugal. In the months prior to the incident, a group of children claimed to have been visited by an apparition of the Virgin Mary, who told them that on that date, October 13th, she would appear and produce an overwhelming miracle. Naturally, thousands gathered to witness it, and that's when things got really crazy.
Many of the witnesses said that the sun's light appeared abnormal, and that the sun changed colors and spun around in the sky. Others said the sun appeared to drop out of the sky and hurtle towards Earth. Many people claim to have witnessed these phenomena, but others say that they only saw some of these unnatural events. Some claim not to have seen anything unusual at all. But because there were no reports of unanimous agreement as to the events that day, later researchers have suggested mass hysteria or temporary eye abnormalities caused by looking directly at the sun as the cause of the episode.
Our next example is of what some consider to be a present-day form of mass hysteria. That crisis is immigration.
Are immigrants really taking our jobs, or is it purely xenophobia?
A U.S. Department of Labor study prepared by the Bush administration noted that the perception of immigrants taking our jobs away from American workers is the most persistent fallacy about immigration of popular thought, because it's based on the mistaken assumption that there is only a fixed number of jobs in the economy.
Experts note that immigrants are blamed for unemployment because Americans can see the job immigrants fill, but not the jobs they create through productivity, capital formation, and demand for goods and services.
Nationwide, immigrants pay more than $90 billion in taxes every year and receive only $5 billion in welfare. Without their contributions to the public treasury, the economy would suffer enormous losses.
Our next example of modern-day mass hysteria is the vaping crisis. The median age of the vape market is 19 years old. Hardly the enlightened ages, however, of the 7 deceased. One was 65 years old with chronic health problems, and another was middle-aged. But both their CODs must come into question. The media neglects to point out that there were very recent afflictions that appeared suddenly, not a long-term illness, such as lung cancer, which may take decades to detect.
Not only this, but did any of them consider that tobacco smoking causes 1.5 million deaths each year? More than 16 million Americans are living with a lung disease caused by tobacco.
Some suspect that the recent vaping backlash is a political ploy to give Big Tobacco back all of the customers it's recently lost. While it's always good to stay health conscious, people who use vaporizers to genuinely quit their tobacco addiction shouldn't be penalized because of some reckless teens. Seriously. Okay, boomer.
We hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. Stay tuned for tomorrow.
The year was 1992. 300 years ago, tragedy befell the small town of Salem, Massachusetts, creating one of the most notorious bouts of mass hysteria known the world over. Though the effects of the tragedy today on the people of Salem vary between them, none can argue the effect of Arthur Miller's play The Crucible in attempting to deal with the political crises of the time. I may not look it, but I was around in 1992 for the creation of this here tape. The 6 of us operated under Girdish Productions, and we have Down in History to thank for allotting us a budget of 30 cents and 3 pizzas. to create our dream project. A Crucible project, you might even say. And though we had been notified at the time that it was the first and last time that our 75% documentary, 25% mockumentary, and 100% avant-garde high school English project would be shown to the masses, I took it upon myself to make sure that that would not be the case. And I hope that you learned something. I hope that you take something from this. Whether it be, do not accuse each other of witchcraft, or do not hang each other because you don't like each other. Or, oh my god, Alex, how long did it take to create this project? Are you still alive?
No!
The real life use of this project may be indeterminate, based on the circumstances in which it was intended to be created. But I hope that whether it be from the information you have learned, or from the sheer ridiculousness of some of the things that may have caused this grade to go down from an A+. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you enjoyed it. Now, I do not like to self-advertise, but if you could look up on Kickstarter, if you could look up the Crucible Project, AP English 2020, Gerdish Productions, you will see on there is a Kickstarter online to get this documentary back on the air and to convince... I should have put it on petition.org. I should have put it on petition.org. One moment. I still have the gavel. We made this in 1992. I have not moved the gavel since 1992. I have to go. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Don't hang people. I have stuff to do. Wait a minute. Is it actually called change.org? Oh, goodness gracious. I just gave my important information to petitions.org. I think I just signed up for a fishing website. Hey, you say something about fishing? Shut up, you fisherman!
Perfect. That was weird.
I mean, sometimes the vibes are pretty bad, but I think that's just seasonal depression.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Caleb coming back at you with another live vlog here. Here's my boy Andrew. So Andrew, how's this project going, boy?
I'm gonna sound so stupid.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. Back to the action.
Are you recording this?
Yes.
Ooh, bloopers. Ooh.
Go.
Oh, is it filming?
Yes.
Sorry. You can't breathe?
No, not really.
Breathe. There you go.
You get one breath.
You get one breath.
One breath.
Twisty.
No.
No, not like that.
Okay. Somebody else.
Here, ready? Speak. E. A. R. C. A.
Literally, when we were buying that bike when I got the Natalie.
Seriously. Okay, boomer. Sorry, I had to put that in there.
Alright.
Wait, I'm not done. Alex, you're gonna cry.
Somebody could do. Not officially the main attraction. Not a fantasy. Just remember.
I literally wrote scoff, not quite. Someone needs to like not let me script write.
I saw that before. I'm just like,
What? I'm sorry, I zone out all the time because I'm tired.
Hey everybody. Welcome to my purgatory.
Alright. Actually gonna do it. Alright.
Shut up.
I'm recording now. You don't have to.
Order in the call.
Okay, it's like daily routine.
Alright, buddy.
Yeah, no, 2 days ago, I came home and literally, for like 30 seconds, I was walking, I was sitting on my bed, I got up and farted all the way until I got
Why don't you just go to the bathroom and fart like a normal human?
Because I do, and then people are always in there, and I'm like, how am I gonna fart now? So now I have to leave looking like a weirdo coming into the bathroom for no reason, actually, when I was coming to fart.
Stop! No.
He needs the audio!
Yes, I know that. But what are you doing? Stop, that's weird. Stop. What are you doing? Just.
Can't reschedule. Hey everybody, welcome to my reality TV show. This is what it's like to lose your life trying to edit a project for 2 entire days doing absolutely nothing else. Play bubbles. Beep, beep, beep.
Can't do it. Can't do what? I can't do the video. For your homework? Yeah. Dude, just do it and move on with your day. It doesn't have to be some sort of ordeal. Yeah, well, she told me I'm funny. What now? It doesn't matter. It does too matter. Why does it matter? My self-worth is solely hinged upon the opinions of others. What about this do you not understand? Just do it! Fine!
Hi, here's my homework, even though I now feel immense pressure to deliver the exact same quote-unquote quality comedy as I've done once before, calling my anticipated profession of creating entertainment for the general masses into extreme question. How can I expect to create for the world if I can't handle feedback? How can I expect to be able to see my face plastered on billboards if I'll freeze up at the sight of them?
What is wrong? Get out of my room!